right now we're going to go to Matt Harber. He's up in the Detroit area, and he's got a demonstration for us tonight. And let me mention that this is his demonstration, and we prefer to have him do the demonstration. If you have a question, ask it. If you have a comment or a suggestion about improving it, wait to the end when we do a Q&A. Because we want to give our demonstrators an opportunity to go through what they've rehearsed, the program they know, et cetera, et cetera. And if you're doing a demonstration and halfway through somebody goes from third gear down to second, it knocks you out a little bit. So we're going to do this demonstration. And Matt, you're live, sir, and we will go back to the gallery in a little while. But in the meantime, I'm going to mute everybody, and Matt, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Okay.
All right, welcome, Matt. It's all you.
Okay, I'm unmuted. How's my audio?
Sounds good.
Okay. Our end goal is a little gnome like this. Looks like that. He's made out of 4 pieces of wood. Let me go to this guy here. The base is pretty simple. This is a 1/4 inch tenon on the top here. And let me switch to this one here. So you can see there's a little 1/4 inch tenon on the top. And the reason why I've got a 1/4 inch tenon is the hat's got a little hole in the bottom of it. Okay. So, and the nose is made from 2x4. Looks like that. It's got a 1/4 inch tenon on it also. And the little bobble on the top is also made from shop 2x4, and it's got an 1/8 inch tenon on the bottom. So that looks like that. Okay. So there's an 1/8 inch hole in here. This is slightly, I don't know if you can see that, but this is undercut. Yeah, this is undercut here. The hole's in the center. So when you put them together, he looks like that. Okay. So there we go. So, and it's just, the 1/4 inch tenon fits in there, a little bit of glue. The natural edge bark overhangs the guy a little. This is undercut a little bit. This is dished a little bit, so he sits flat. And that's pretty much the construction techniques. So the beard is faux fur, okay, and it's just cut to size. All right, questions on any of that so far?
No, it's doing good. Video looks good. You sound good.
I didn't hear that.
Dane, your audio cut down.
Huh. So
Okay, we're good. It looks good, Matt, and I have no questions at this time. Let's rock and roll.
All right. So I've got 2 pieces of wood I'm going to use here. This one I'm going to make the hat first. This one here is a little smaller. I want the hat to the natural edge on the hat to overhang. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down, scoop it out like this, and then I'm going to drill the hole before I get too small on the top, or the 1/8 inch hole on the top, and we'll go from there. And then I'll undercut the base and part it off. All right, so I'm going to start with my trusty deep fluted bowl gouge and go from there. I think the wood is Bradford pear.
Cuts very nice.
Yes, it does. It's wonderful wood. Now, my goal with these, yeah, I get shavings like this. It's fun. My goal with these is to make shearing cuts like this so that I don't have to sand. Let me get down here a little bit to where I want to be. And now I'm going to drill the hole. So that's done fairly simply. By using an 1/8" drill bit in a Jacob's chuck.
Is that your finished size then?
No, I'm going to take it. I'm drilling the hole. One of the things I've learned, especially if you've got pith in the middle of the wood, is if you wait to drill the hole till the end, sometimes the drill bit will just punch right through and shred the top. So I drill the hole before I get too narrow. So it doesn't need to be very big here. Just drill it deep enough for the tenon, and I'm done with that.
Matt.
Yep. So now I can go, I don't have to worry about any sort of games with this. I can just finish turn it and not worry about having to drill, too narrow a piece. So usually what I'll do now is I'll take this down close to where I want it and then make a finishing cut. Now, one of the things I want to show is, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I am making a slicing cut here with this tool along this when I'm cutting through here like this. This is a slicing cut. Yeah, it's all backing up in there.
Yeah, you wouldn't be.
And I believe we have the master of the slice.
Yeah, you wouldn't be getting those kind of shavings if it wasn't sliced.
Yeah, and this wood is really forgiving. So I can get a really, really good slicing cut with this.
Awesome.
And then I don't have to sand. Of course, the problem, and it's fun because, we all know that making streamers is fun. Except the problem is you can't see what you're doing when the shavings get in the way. Ah. So, and once, having the hole drilled really lets you get this down pretty small if you want to. So I would like to emphasize with this is just the way that I make these. There are a lot of different people making these a lot of different ways, and none of them are wrong. They're all fun, and they all work well.
Hey Matt, is
Yes,
that fairly wet wood?
It's pretty wet. This came down in the storm about 2 months ago.
Okay.
So it is pretty wet. But Bradford pear cuts so well, just like on a general principles, that it's just, Bradford pear when it's dry cuts this way too. So
Yeah, I'm in Minnesota, and I guess I've never come across Bradford pear before. I know you're in Michigan, and apparently it's common around your place.
if you look in the spring, well, I don't know what it's like where you live. Here, I can tell real quick where they are because they're the first tree to leaf in the spring when the leaves start coming back. So I can see them in the woods. So I got a really good finish on that. I'm going to trim this up on the top here a little bit. So I've got a really good finish here. I've got no need to sand. And now I'm going to part this off, and I want to try to leave my natural edge. If you're worried about losing it, you can go in with a skew or something and get past it and glue it right now. Glue it on the top here. This is a parting tool. This is it's not exactly flat on the top. Y'all have seen this a little bit. It's basically a standard parting tool, but I've got like a 15-degree slant on the top of it. And that makes it easier for me to undercut stuff. And I've got a really sharp point on the front of it. So I'll get in and then I'll start to undercut. Make sure I leave enough room for my tool. Now, something to consider here with these. Hang on a second. Something to consider with these is that the bottom of this hat is going to be hidden from view. It's going to be glued on top of the gnome. So you don't have to be perfect with this. You just have to get close. All right, so there's my little hat. Okay, and he's got an 1/8" hole cut in the top. Okay. And now what I'll do is, let me get a skew here, trim this up a little bit. I'm just like taking off the little bits of nub here so that I can come here with the drill, excuse me, with the drill. And that's what I'll do next. So I got a 1/4" drill bit here, and I'm just going to drill a hole right at the center. And it doesn't have to be very deep.
Just got to get it kind of straight.
Yeah. And if you want to set this thing off so that it's lopsided or off center or something, you can drill the hole in a different place.
Got it.
So,
You've got it scooped out, right?
Yeah, it's slightly undercut. So I don't know if you can actually see that.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yep. So it's slightly undercut. And one of the reasons why I did that is I want this to be able to, let me get my little example guy out. I want this to be able to sit right on the rim. Okay. I want it to sit flush on the rim here. Okay. So I don't want any, if I undercut this, the only point of glue contact is going to be on the rim and on the little post. So, and that's plenty to hold it. So that's my goal right there.
Okay.
All right. Any questions so far?
All right, you're making it look simple.
This is a pretty simple project. So, I would encourage people and people love them. So it's a great, around the holidays sort of project.
Bet that would be fun with kids.
Well, it is. And what I've got now is I've got customers ordering specific colors. So like I've got people say, I want a red beard one, or I want a, I had one lady ordered a purple one and a blonde one. And I was like, seriously? She says, I got 2 daughters.
Right on. That's nice.
All right.
Well, if you get a silver-haired one, it'll look like Billy Burt.
Well, yep. And they sell silver ones. So, it can be done. All right. Now, my only caveat with this one, with the body, is that I need to have, let's see, what did I do with that? Oh, there it is. I need to have, the body has got to allow the hat to overhang. So if I show the example again here, I want overhang from the hat because it'll cover the glue joint. It'll cover the glue joint where the beard is. It'll make it look seamless. Okay. My other guy here. So you can see where he's overhanging here. Okay. You can't tell anything. You can't see where it's glued. Yeah. I'll clean that out later. He's got shop man glitter from the shop. That's what he's got.
He's been working hard.
Yeah.
Working hard, you see.
So if my hat is like this, let me get out I had a set of get out another one, I guess. So my base is like this. And I'm just want to, this is sort of, I'm just going to ballpark it. I'm going to move like about a quarter inch or a half inch in on either side. It's got to be at least, it's got to be less than that. Okay. Now, the way I'm going to do this body here is, this is going to be the bottom here. And I'm going to put the post on this side. So it's going to slope gently this way, but this bit at the bottom is what I'm going to use the calipers for to make sure that it's the right size. Okay.
Okay. And how big is that piece that you got in there?
I don't know, 3 inches in diameter, maybe. He's smaller than a lot of the other ones I make. Like this other one here is bigger than this guy. Okay.
So it's what, 3 by 6?
Yeah, I don't know. You know,
Close.
I just chuck up whatever wood I've got sitting
Yeah.
around. So
Okay.
Matt, is there a particular reason you're going from the base to the top in the middle instead of the other way?
well, yes, because I want to be able to scoop the base out a little bit. And then I'm just saying, okay, this is a good distance for his body.
I
And
gotcha.
the bit that's underneath here is going to be hidden by the hat. So I don't have to be, you know, I got to make the bottom look nice, but this part is hidden. So I don't care about it.
Cool.
So I rough with the deep fluted bowl gouge. And I'm going to have to get the tailstock out of there at some point. All right, let's check the size just to see. That's pretty. That's another reason why I like Bradford pear. So I need to lose like a half inch or so. So let me set my top here. So parting tool. Let's make him about that tall. So it's sloping from the base to the top. All right, let's check and see how we are on the size just to make sure. All right, we're good. So I'm good enough to be under the overhang on the hat. So now I can just do any cleanup I want to do here. Okay. Ah. And you could do this with a skew, or I could come back this way and do it. All right, so let me clean up the bottom here and then bring up something to hold it with. So let's do that now.
So Matt, what speed do you turn at?
Well, these I'm running like around 2000 or faster.
Okay.
I'm being gentle here because y'all are watching.
Right. No worries. No worries. Yeah, no pressure. We know what happens when you demo, you know.
Yeah.
It happens.
I was reminiscing with some guys in my club. I mean, I started demoing long before I should have probably. But everybody was like, you know, Matt's demoing, you know, it might not be all that good, but it's going to be exciting because he's going to throw something.
That's funny.
So, but I never hurt anybody, and it didn't always come off the lathe, but
Right.
I was enthusiastic. All right, so I'm dished up. Let's bring our little because we're going to get thin on the tenon. So I'm going to bring up a little support. It's not really a lot of pressure. It's just a little bit of pressure. Now, I have here a 1/4 inch wrench that I bought at my local pawn shop. Looks like that. I have not modified this in any way. It's just a 1/4 inch. And I use this as my gauge. Okay.
Yep.
So that's what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to go down to the tenon here and this is just a simple parting tool, nothing amazing, nothing special. I do slightly dish the inside of this too. You know, I don't want the hat sitting there. I don't want a visible crack. So I'm dishing this a little bit here, you know, ever so slightly undercutting it. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay.
When he's saying dish, he's saying making it a little concave.
Yep. The top of this is down to the tenon. Like where the tool is right here, it's ever so slightly concave.
Right. And it just needs to be a little bit, don't it?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and you don't want it too deep because you're going to put glue on there.
Right.
And you want it to have something to hang on to.
Right.
But you don't want the hat sitting proud.
Correct.
And you don't want a crack to show up. Yeah, don't do that. That's bad. I'm a little, what's going on here? Oh, it's not quite, okay. Interesting. All right, I was getting a little wobble there and I didn't know why. And this, you know, was a little loose, so we're better now. So I tend to slant it this way, the little tenon, if for no other reason than if it breaks. All right, I'm real close. If for no other reason than if it breaks at the short end, and I can fix it with a little bit of sanding. All right, I think I just broke it. Yep.
Yeah, it's ready.
Well, no, it's kind of screwed up, but we'll take it off here, and you know what? I'm gonna cut that by hand. That's too dangerous. My Japanese saw.
There you go. There you go.
So my tenon is a little trashed here, but it'll probably still work. I could probably sand that clean enough to get it to work. Make sure here. So that's the bottom. The bottom's pretty clean. The sides are clean. Let's see, where'd my little top go to see how that fits? All right, that fits. Okay, and I got my overhang. All right, everybody see that?
Yeah.
All right, now the nose, where the nose goes in, will also be hidden by the beard. So you want to pick a spot.
Can you bring it back towards your tool rest?
No, yes.
There we go.
So you want to pick a spot. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but you want to pick a spot. And I'm just picking an arbitrary spot here. You know, it's about 3/4 of an inch or so below the rim. And I'm drilling a little hole for the nose. Okay.
Yep.
Somebody
Okay.
bring the defibrillator over to Safety Sue. She saw you holding it in your hand as you were drilling it. I know she's in shock.
What's wrong with that, guys? Come on.
Hey, it's all good,
Uh,
Matt.
Hey, man, I've done the same thing.
Oh,
It's a battery powered hand drill. Come on now.
Exactly.
This is actually corded. I keep a drill on the
Oh,
lathe at
okay,
all
yeah.
times, but
That's all I use is corded too. Well, I finally got an impact driver this summer, but yep. Corded.
all right.
What power?
Now the detail parts. All right, well that goes in. I'll show you how I make these, the other bits too. So let me put this away, put this away. All right. Let me go back to here while I do that. All right, I am wearing a face mask. Let's see what else here. All right, this comes off. I don't need it. Anybody have any questions about anything I'm doing so far? Tools or what I've done so far?
Is there a reason why you're turning the body and the hat in two pieces rather than simply undercutting the rim of the hat and going from left to right and doing it in one piece?
Yeah, the reason is that you can use different woods if you want. One of the
Okay.
things that's kind of interesting is to use just sort of, scrap wood or wood you don't care about, like found wood, like box elder or something, for the body, because it's half covered up by the beard. Okay, and then use something nice like walnut branch for the top, where you've got some pretty grain and so on. So you can use different woods. Maybe you've got a couple pieces that are different. And sorry, I'm a little.
Yep. No, it's
My air compressor burned itself up to this afternoon, so it's a little smoky in here still. All right, so this is 2x4. All right,
Yep.
I cut it lengthwise and lengthwise again to get a little chunk of it. I am going to switch chucks. So let me pull this one off. Now, this is why I have two chuck bodies, is because I leave the standard 50 millimeter jaws on, which I use most of the time, and I leave the pin jaws on another chuck body, so I can very quickly switch like that. So now I'm going to be using all the holes, Eddie. See that?
I know. Good move.
there you go.
Is
Now,
that
I'm
like a
gonna use-
1/2 inch block or a 3/4 inch?
It's the sides are not equal. All right, she wants to know. Let's see here. This little chunk of wood is about 3/4 inch by about 7/8 inch.
Gotcha.
But as long as it's big enough to get the size you want, you should be fine. So I am going to switch to a small deep fluted bowl gouge. Looks like that. All right. And I am also going to use my detail gouge, which was at one time a spindle gouge. All right.
Yep.
Let's make sure I got it all round. Nope. Didn't think I did. Now you could do this with a skew for the purists out there. Now, because this is the nose, I'm going to want some bit of post here. So I've got to leave this a little longer so that it actually sticks out between the beard. And I'm going to hit this with a little sandpaper. The 100 grit tool.
And the only thing it needs to be buffed up or sanded up like that is just the nose, the
Yeah,
bead
the
there
top,
that you
because the
made.
rest of it's hidden.
Got it. How long is that little tenon you made?
I don't know, 3/4 of an inch maybe.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to need my little 1/4 inch tool here. Let's see how close we are.
Careful.
Yeah, I'm pretty close.
Yeah.
Are there questions for me, Dane?
No.
Okay.
No,
All right, because
yeah,
you
there's no
asked, it's about a 1/2 inch long right now.
okay. That's what I was thinking, is about a 1/2 inch, but okay.
Yeah, that's
right on.
and I'll make it a little
You don't
longer, I
need
guess.
much.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to use that parting tool again to get down in here. Yeah, it only, let me get this other one out to show you. It only sticks out about that much. Okay.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it's only sticking out about 1/4 of an inch.
right.
So, and I sort of use this parting tool a little bit like a skew in that I tilt it and I'm getting a kind of a slicing.
Yep.
It's not really a cut.
Parting tool. Yep. Good job.
All right, let's check it again. And we're pretty close. Now you can use this thing as if it'll fit, then you can like use it to burnish. So I know I'm in the right size there. And I'll take a thin curve parting tool, looks like that, and take it off. All right, so there's my nose. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
that was a piece of 2x4.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
shop 2x4. Yep,
Yep.
that's exactly what it is.
Right
And
on
you
that.
can see it.
Yep. Yeah.
I like
When I saw that grain, I'm like, yep, I'm pretty sure he said 2x4. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Now you could
All
use
done good use.
you could use anything else you had laying around the shop.
Right.
All right, let me turn that up. Now, on these, I like to do a sort of an onion shape. I think it's interesting. You don't have to do it that way. So I do a shape that looks like that. All right. So I got this little point on the top and a little onion shape. Now with this one, you have to be, because a lot of this could be shown too, you've got to be, a little more careful about the finish on this side of it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm getting a little bit of tear out here, so we'll try and get that with a slice here.
Kind of like a Hershey's Kiss.
Yeah, but I think of it more like, an onion on a Russian church,
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep.
But hey, whatever floats your boat, And this is just like I said, this is just my way of doing it. You could make this round. You could, people make them part of the hat. Same piece of wood. You can make it a ball. There's a lot of different ways to do this.
Man. God.
Now I try to get slicing cuts with this. So I'm riding the bevel and cutting it. So I've got a good slice going in this direction with this tool. You guys see that?
Yep.
All right. All right, I'm going to switch to the parting tool because it's getting hard to get in there. Now you do want this kind of flat on the bottom here because it's sitting on top of the hat. All right, before I get too crazy here, let's 150 grit. I got some ridges in there. Clean them up a little bit. Let's check and make sure. Yeah, that's good. Now I'm not pushing real hard with the sandpaper. This is pine fir, so. And I'm just rounding off the, rounding off the corners, making sure that everything's all, looks nice, and hit it with 220 very lightly. All right. I got disc calipers set to 1/8 of an inch. And we need just a little bit more here. Now this is, because it's not sitting up, it doesn't have to be that long a tenon. It's just enough to hold it in place. Let's see how we're doing here. Almost there. I'm probably there. Yep. Okay. And then just take it off. Okay. So there's my little, the bobbin that goes on the top. All right.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. Now what I'll do, I got a little extra stuff here in the bottom, but it's probably a little longer than it needs to be. This is a Dremel. I'm just going to take this down a little bit. Good. All right, so we'll dry fit it. All right, I'm happy with that. And find my body here, dry fit my nose. Need to take this off a little bit. There's a little bit extra junk here on the bottom. So dry fit the nose. All right, we're good there too. All right, so all my parts fit. The glue I use the Type On Quick and Thick. It's this stuff. Comes in this gray container. When you put it on, it's white, but it dries clear, and it's a real good glue for using with these projects with wood. I use it on the snowmen. I use it on a lot of things in the shop. Okay, so the way I cut the beard is I cut the beard in a shape like this in the back. So the beard, this is red faux fur, and it's got a slot in the middle for the nose. So how I do that is I basically just put it on the base on the fur and roll it halfway. So it's basically halfway around. So one end is here, and then I roll it on the fur, and I'm halfway there, and that's where I make my mark. Okay.
Huh.
And then I got to make sure that it fits around the nose like that. Okay. And then this bit here, the distance from here to here is the body width. All right.
Okay.
So all I then do is I get, let's see if I can show this here. Not very well. This is going to be, I need a table that fits on my lathe.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I've got one, but it's too hard to get to right now. So basically what I do is I get the glue out. I put it on, I start it here, maybe. New glue bottle. Maybe it's not breached. Maybe it's too cold.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe, yeah, there we go. It shouldn't be this thick. So I don't know, something, it must be the cold. Or maybe there's something
Yeah.
wrong with it. But
The cold
anyway,
affects it. We're like at 73 degrees here. That's gonna really hurt.
well, I had to open up the shop because I needed the I needed to ventilate it because all the smoke in here. So I don't know if this will work.
I could recommend a new air compressor for you.
Well, I really like the one I have. It's just this is not going to work. This stuff is not even sticking. At any rate,
Yeah, it's the temperature.
I haven't had this trouble with this glue before. I think there's something wrong with the bottle.
Nah, it's because you're demoing. That's why.
Well,
I'm
No,
not
seriously.
sure.
I mean, it's something's got to give you a hard time. So
Yeah.
well, if it's the glue failing, that's the best of most of the worlds I could have hoped for.
Stayed on the lathe, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not
So-
sure what kind of shelf life that Quick Tech has.
Well, I've got 3 of these bottles. I bought 3 bottles at the same time. Okay. So the other 2 are currently in operation. One's downstairs in my finishing room, and the other one's, somewhere else in the house. But basically it fits on like this. I glue the beard on first, make sure it's where I want it to be. Get it around here like this. Get it up here. So it's right on the edge like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And once that's in place and glued, then I put a little bit of glue on here and just put the hat on like that.
Right.
So that's how I do it.
Very cool, Matt.
Good job.
Yeah. And they're, I didn't really sand. I'm going to sand it a little bit on the pine. So, one of my goals with the small projects like this is to have as little sanding as possible. I want to do them quick.
Right.
I can afford then to reduce the price that I pay for, I charge for them. They'll sell faster,
Yep.
so
Less inventory, less
Yeah.
handling.
yeah. And they're fun and they're fast and people love them. So, they've been real popular this season.
How much do you get for one of those, Matt?
Between $40 and $45 a piece.
Okay.
Again, keep in mind, it's your market,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I
So
sell everything online through Facebook. So it's, you guys have asked me about that before. So it's, that's I just post pictures and say, hey, you want one of these? Contact me,
Right.
so.
Wow, cool.
I have to talk to you about
Oh,
that
man.
then.
Any
Any-
good white PVA will work to glue those beards on too, Matt. And
It probably will. You're
I've
right.
used hot glue on mine with great success. So
Or the
I've had,
E6000.
I've
Yeah,
had
that
the
would work too.
I've had the hot glue fail before.
Huh.
So I've had things break off that I've used hot glue on. So I'm less of a fan of the hot glue than I am of the quick
Yeah.
and thick.
the original tacky glue would be a good one too.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I got something wrong is with this bottle, but usually it's a lot more it flows a lot better and works a lot better. So
Good demo, Matt.
thank you.
Yeah, very nice.
Any
Very good
questions
demo.
about
Thank you.
anything I showed or any of the tools I used or any of the techniques?
We have some suggestions pop up in the chat, and somebody said instead of doing the tenon between the top and the bottom, what about drilling it out with a 1/4-inch hole and doing a little piece of dowel?
Yeah, you certainly you could do that. I got 1/4-inch dowels sitting here in the shop. So yeah, absolutely.
Here's the deal. Listening to Brenda about the size and all this stuff, what turned us? There's no rules on this thing.
Right.
None at all. There's no guidelines, no restrictions, nothing. You play with it. If it looks ugly, it's a gnome. If it looks too good, it's something else.
Well, one of the I've been talking online with a lot of folks who make these and who make the snowmen, and in all fairness, having things out of proportion and a little bit skewed, that's increases the selling price and the selling points. So you get a weird hat that's too tall. People love that,
Yep.
I've seen these gnomes where people make little Viking helmets with horns on them and have them hold a spear and a shield,
Mhm.
So there's a lot of ways you could make these. There's a lot of different ways. Rebecca DeGroot has made some, and hers are beautiful. And a lot of people are making them. So it's there's a lot of different ways to do it. This is just the way I do it.
Yep. There's many ways to skin a cat or a squirrel
Yep.
or a rabbit. Mhm.
Yep, and it's one of the reasons why I take all sorts of branch wood that people would normally not take for turning, because you can make all sorts of these little projects like this, and make it worth your while. So
And for the fur, for the beard, where do you what is it?
it's faux fur, FAUX fur.
Yep.
You can buy it in small sections from Amazon. You can buy it in small sections or larger sections from Joanne Fabrics or Hobby
Okay,
Lobby.
that's what I was getting ready to
Michael's,
ask,
Hobby
yeah.
Lobby.
Yeah, and I think this piece of red beard here was like 10 inches by 20 inches. So you
Yeah.
can see where I've cut some
You can
out
get a
here.
lot out. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
one of the things that you need to
Okay.
pay attention to is how the fur flows. So
Right.
if it's
Yeah.
flowing down this way, then I want the beard to be here so that it flows down.
Right.
If I cut it the other way, then it looks really strange. So I made one or two that way. I was like, this isn't right.
And when
Now
you
Ward
cut
says
your-
he gets his fur from a woman's coat at a thrift store.
when you
I-
cut
I've-
that fur, you want to separate, or when you cut it, you want to separate the fur so you're not cutting the fur off.
Right. I make sure that the scissors are going in under the fur and just cutting
Yes.
the backing bit, because you want
Yeah,
the fur
sure.
to flow over the edges.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
To help
yeah.
to help me
Yes.
with that,
Yeah.
I cut it from the back so I can see.
Good
what I'm doing.
tip.
Yep.
That's something that needs to be broke out. Because
I-
if I would have bought it, I would have cut straight across.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
see,
and,
what I-
and cut from the backside so you can see.
Separate the fur.
Right.
Yeah.
I use a razor blade cutter, and a holder.
Yep.
And
I use it.
I just cut it really simple, just the material itself. I draw out the outline of the beard, and I'll
Yep.
take just the razor blade and just cut on those lines, just enough to go through the material, and it works great that way too.